Well, I think it. Welcome, welcome, change makers. We've got another awesome interview today. We're all about celebrating change makers worldwide. And my goodness, this has been International Week on our channel, but it's all good because we came back to the US today. So we're so excited to be able to bring Peggy Sue in today and tell us, my dear, what makes you so amazing?
Well, I am a certified hypnotherapist and rapid transformational therapy practitioner, a guide, a mentor, and a facilitator of transformation. I help individuals awaken to their own power, align with their divine essence, and reclaim the wisdom within their mind, body, and soul. As the
Woo!
founder and the sole practitioner of Nobody's Business, I bridge the gap between self-awareness and higher consciousness, offering a deeply personal and intuitive approach to transformation.
Oh my
Yep.
goodness. Well, that's a mouthful. Can you
My
break it
work
down
is,
for us just a little bit?
yeah, my work is rooted in understanding the subconscious and the conscious mind, how they shape
Mm,
our reality and how we reprogram our limiting beliefs and to create a life of abundance, prosperity,
mm.
fulfillment, pretty much whatever you want. Through
Wow.
the understanding of the Hermetic principles and the energy work and my own intuitive modalities, I just guide others in navigating their thoughts, emotions, and especially their triggers. I've found that triggers are a good one to get through. If you can manage those and work your way through those, that's clearing a lot of emotional issues for anybody.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, our triggers are really kind of seated somewhere in our subconscious, right? So
Oh, yeah.
anytime we can pull from there and bring it out to the conscious mind and be able to shine the light on it, we stand a chance.
Absolutely. I try to remind myself that when I'm triggered, it is a gift. That the person that's triggering me is giving me a gift. And if I can just unwrap that gift, I've got it made. Identifying that it's a trigger, that's kind of a difficult process sometimes, but once you start, it gets easier and easier.
That's it. That's it. Wow. Can you give me an example of somebody that you've helped? Where did somebody start and where did they end up?
I actually have been working with a gal. We started 3 years ago, and she is amazing. We did a hypnosis, and I had only done the transformation on eyesight. I had four girls I was working with at the same time, and it was just a quick transformation only. I didn't do any of the, you know, regressions or any part of it. And I had two that do not wear glasses anymore and two that still do. But yeah, two that have taken their driver's test without glasses for the first time in their life. They're pretty excited.
Wow.
And yeah,
Wow.
I helped her with a hernia and she is just doing 100. It's amazing when you find your self-love. I mean, we all say, "Oh, I love myself," but when you really find that value for yourself, it is a game changer. And yeah, she is just performing miracle after miracle in her own life, healing herself. And yeah, I love helping.
Goodness. Wow. Now, I never in a million years would have thought there was a connection between eyesight and the hypnosis. Is that what you were using to help with
Oh,
the eyesight or something else?
yep, hypnosis. And I do a rapid transformational therapy. So it's through a Marissa Peer's program, and she is amazing. She's got what I consider the best therapy ever. But you
Hmm.
go in and she has a cell command therapy, and you go in and you tell your cells, you command your cells to do what you want, regenerate themselves. We usually regenerate it back to your blueprint on the day that you were born and get your body to start aging backwards by regenerating everything. And it does it naturally in a year. But if you can get in there and start commanding your body does exactly what the mind tells it to. So you just got to tell your mind what to do and
Mm.
pass the
Mm.
message.
Oh my goodness. Well, and I know that is so much the truth that we are so much more powerful beings than what we've been led to believe. And it's really exciting to hear about the kind of work that you're doing to help people understand that. But I did another interview earlier today and that gal was also talking about self-love. So can you explain to me more about what is it that you see that shifts when, some people say, "Oh yeah, I love myself," but to me that often sounds more like an ego kind of response. I mean, how do you help people get to a place where they really understand their value?
When you start to understand that your triggers matter and they're actually very important to get through, and you understand with compassion for yourself how to do that, makes a huge difference. When you can look yourself in the mirror and really fall in love with yourself, really appreciate the person looking back at you, it is a game changer because you stop hating yourself. You stop making fun of yourself. You stop being like, oh, I'm such an idiot. You don't say things like that to yourself because it's damaging. Even if it's a joke, your mind does not know the difference between reality and imagination. So you could be telling a joke, the mind takes everything literal. It's literal. So if you're thinking that of yourself, your mind's trying to help your body overcome all the doubt, the self-doubt, the guilt, the shame that we all have growing up in the world that we're in. We all have that. And to understand it and forgive yourself on the level that you can find love and compassion, start to value yourself, changes your looks. It starts aging you backwards. It starts your hair. When you have gray hair, we'll come back to your color. I mean, it's all feelings are all having a physical reaction. For every thought you have a physical reaction. So when you attach emotional to that thought, now you have that thought driving the physical with it backing up with some powerful emotions that are just driving it. And we don't realize the damage that we do to ourselves just by the way that we think about ourselves, even if it's a joke. I'm just
Mm,
kidding. I'm so dumb.
mm.
I shouldn't do that. Oh, I just feel bad when I hear people say, I'm like, wait. Self-praise is the number one, the number one healer for depression, anxiety. I suffered from anxiety so bad for so long. And when I got down to the very bottom, the very nitty gritty of what anxiety was, I found out that I was scared of a thought. And that thought wasn't even real. It was something that I was
Wow.
making up in my head as I was going because I assumed that's how everybody else was. And it wasn't even real. I got very mad at myself for a minute. I'm like, how can I be that scared of a thought that I just sit here and shake? And yeah, when I got to the end of that, I was starting to identify triggers left and right because of that. I thought, how much do we make up? How many stories do we make up about other people? Like, oh, I know she's going to think this if I do this. I know they're going to do this if, you don't know that. And
Mm-mm.
that is just, yeah, once you get to that, I call it accurate thinking. Positive thinking is great, but you're only getting half the story. Negative thinking is destructive and you're only half the story. But if you got the accurate thinking, then you got both sides you're going down, paying attention.
Wow. Wow. So I'm curious. So were you able to, or is it even important to try to figure out where that anxiety thought originated from?
I so much. I mean, I have a background of, neglect and abandonment in my childhood. So coming up, I did not know I didn't know I was traumatized from it. I didn't consider that trauma. I thought there needed to be, like blood and guts or something for trauma. And when I figured
No.
out that the abandonment and stuff was really affected my whole life, every relationship I've ever had has been affected by that. I really started to dive in and do some real, self work. Talk about shadow work. I went
Mm,
into the depths of the parts of me I did not like and wouldn't even look at, and
mm,
started clearing my heart space and my mind space, getting
mm,
to in my heart to that 0 point field, where like when you're a little kid and you don't have all of this trauma on top of you, you have to sort through and deal with to get to the, answer of the questions. I clear all that so that when I think back on my memories, the first thing that comes into my head is not the trauma that I experienced. It's not the bad. I've been able to let it go and actually get to a point in my life where I can look back at those traumas and be grateful for them, which I did
mm.
not think was a possibility. I argued with somebody. I'm like, no, you haven't lived my life. You don't get it. And she's like, yo, you'll get there. And she's right. I really
Mm.
do. Every trauma I've ever had in my life, I can look at and be very grateful for being who I am today because of that. It's helped me with my clients. It's helped me with my children. It's helped me with me. I'd have to say greatest my greatest adventure in life has been getting to know me, creating my best friend.
Wow, I see that. There's so many similarities in what you're talking about and what my other friend was talking about. And that's it, because, if we can learn to look at ourselves as our own best friend, then there's no reason for you to ever feel alone, right?
That's right. And when you fall in love, we all know what it feels like to fall in love. When you first fall in love and everything's just perfect. You're driving down the road, you hit every green light, every song that comes on the radio is your favorite song. Everybody's in a good mood. You're so happy. You just want to like say hi to everybody, make sure everybody's just as happy as you are. That's
Hmm.
the same experience if you fall in love with yourself. Only you get to
Wow.
experience it every day,
Wow.
all day.
Mm.
And then when you get
Mm-mm-mm.
into a relationship, if that relationship doesn't work out, you don't have to lose yourself trying to figure out how come you don't matter. You already know you do.
Oh, well, and that's a good point too, because, if people are not connected to themselves in that way where they actually can feel like they love themselves, how difficult is it for them to love somebody else?
Oh man, you can really only love somebody else to the capacity that you love yourself. Another
Mm.
argument I argued and said, that's not true. I got kids. I know I love my kids way more than I could imagine loving myself. And yeah, that one was true too.
But
I definitely,
even in
oh, go
terms
ahead.
of relationships that you might attract, though, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
there's got to be some reflection that goes on there.
Yeah. Hey, can't really, I mean, how much you love yourself shows how much you can love. That's how much
Mm.
love you give out. If you don't have any love for yourself and you can't figure out how come nobody else loves you, yeah, you got to start asking yourself, you don't even love yourself.
Mm.
How do you expect somebody else to? And that was told to me, and that really got me thinking. It's like, oh, it's kind of selfish on a not good level.
Mm. Mm.
I didn't even like myself for years. And yeah, it's a whole different relationship now. I really
Wow.
appreciate myself
Wow.
and admire myself for making it through that trauma and finding a way through, surviving it and thriving.
Well, I'm grateful that you have, because I know I do some trauma release stuff with people too, and so often it's like the trauma kind of peels off in layers, because it's kind of, some people are still trying to learn from some of that trauma, right? You
Yeah,
won't let go of it until you feel like you've learned what you needed to learn.
absolutely. That was me. I recreate that story over and over and over. And what I didn't realize is the mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So if you're reliving the trauma, you're reliving it in your mind like it's happening every time you relive it, every time you think
Yeah.
about it, every time you
Ugh,
talk about it.
ugh,
Yeah, can you imagine having to feel that way yeah, and we got people suffering everywhere, not knowing
mm,
how to get out of it.
mm, mm. And suffering is the word. I mean, we
Yeah.
we did our suicide prevention event last year, and that's the number one thing. If you drill all the way down to the core of what suicide is really all about, it's because somebody doesn't value themselves. They don't love themselves. They don't, and through all of that, they end up feeling like, well, nobody will miss me when I'm gone. And that is just so not right. I remember I heard a statistic last summer. I think I heard that no less than 130 people are typically affected when somebody takes their life. That's that's
Wow.
uh that's a lot, and people don't
Yeah.
realize what an impact. What an impact.
There's Yeah, especially
Mm,
compared to the amount of suicides that are going on every year right now. That is
they're huge.
awful,
They're huge.
and
And
it does get down to that point. It's like they've been taught to not like themselves. It's not even a fact that they know how to like or dislike themselves. They've been taught they're not worthy. And that was what I was taught. That is something is awful. I didn't
ugh,
realize that I was valuable because I was taught I wasn't.
ugh,
So, and not that my
ugh.
parents or anybody tried to teach that. It's just the way the world has been programmed. We've got to get out of that programming.
Goodness,
The,
yes,
the
that is
human
that is
design
it.
versus the human conditioning.
Yeah, there's a big gap there at this point in time.
Yes.
Holy cow. Wow. Wow. Um, I mean, I'm just trying to think. You've got such a wealth of information, and it just bubbles up out of you. Tell me, who's your typical person that you either attract to you the most to serve, or that you really enjoy working with? What kind of folks do you like to work with?
I love working with people that are dedicated to their self practice, to their own self. If they're willing to put in the work, because it is work and it's every day, it's a lifestyle change, then
Hmm.
I'm all about it. I
Mm.
the problems that they're going through or the issues that they have, I'll find a way. We'll find a way. That's yeah, but I like the people that are willing to put in the work and get the job done.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
Anybody
So
that's
there's
doing that, oh yeah.
doesn't matter if they're male or female, what age, where they come from, as long as they're willing to buckle down and get it done, then you're the gal for the job.
Absolutely. I will put in just as hard of work as they will. I enjoy it. It's something that I would do for free on a Friday night. You know, I love it. One of those things I've been doing it. I've been doing some healings with people off and on for I want to say 20 years. I
Mm.
started my business up 5 years ago when COVID hit. I thought, oh, we are going to be in need. There is going to be a need for this kind of work. So I opened up my business. My business is called Nobody's Business, spelled KNOWBODIES, because we are the CEOs of our bodies. It's our business.
Wow, nobody's business. I like that. That is very, very creative.
Pure, purely original by design. Yep.
There is no doubt about that. Well, and I'm curious, so I mean, what do you see for yourself out in the future, 5 years out, 10 years out? Where do you think, what will you be up to?
Oh, I hope that I am just continuing down this road and making a huge impact and a huge difference in people's lives. I just want people to know that they are worth it. No matter who they are, they're a piece of a puzzle that has to be put together, and we need everybody. There isn't
Mm.
one person that out there that doesn't deserve a chance to heal and feel good. We all deserve it, and I just want to make an impact and let people know that. So for the ones that don't know, you're worth it.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm curious, could you ever see yourself working as part of a team of people, or you like being the lone wolf kind of gal?
Oh, I love working as a team with people. I work with a couple of people we mentor. We do these mastermind classes that are so fun, and we really get to the nitty-gritties of things and work them out and figure it out. And they're good people. I love working with people. The more the
Good.
merrier.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I tend to think that way too. I always tell people I believe we all have a piece of a puzzle within us that needs to be developed and create the super puzzle, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's coming. That's for sure. We just got to get some more people on board.
That's it. That's
Self-awareness.
it. Yeah, absolutely. Help them to see what's possible instead of being focused on all the negative chatter that's out here. There's far too much of it.
Yeah, we tend to really focus on the things we don't want in life. And yeah, we could just get out of that mindset and start thinking about the fun things that we like to do, that we love doing. It's so much easier and funner to think that way.
It is, and yet so many people, and a lot of it is, it's programming that gets caught in our subconscious. But the good news is, it's just like this little computer we're all sitting in front of. It can be reprogrammed.
Yes. Oh, that's the best part. And our cells, our DNA, it's all programmable. We just got to
Yeah.
figure out how to do it. And here we are. I figured
Mhm.
it out. I could not live the life that I was living. I couldn't even imagine myself doing that for another year.
Oh
And
my
this
gosh.
newfound world for me it's opened up so many opportunities and I to meet so many wonderful people. So yeah, I just love life now. So I
Gotta
want to help
love that.
others love life.
Well, that is, we should all have joy in living, and it is possible. but people need to start turning here instead of worrying about what's out there, which they probably don't have a lot of control over all that anyway, but you can control what goes here. So, hey,
Oh,
that's what we're trying to help people to see and to understand. Well, Peggy Sue,
absolutely. It's real
it's a
freedom.
yes, freedom. I love that word. Well, it's been a joy having you with us here today. How can people get a hold of you if they want more information about some of the magnificent work you're doing?
Well, I've got a YouTube channel that I've put some of my work on. So it's Peggy Sue for you. Um, I have my Facebook and I've got my website, nobodiesbusiness.co. Come
Tell
see
us
me
again
there.
how
All
you
my
spell.
information's there.
Tell us how you
K
spell that.
KNOWBODIES business.co.
I love it. Nobody's business. I like that. That is too cool. .co, not .com. Okay.
Yep,
Good
yep, and
deal.
yep, come find me.
Well, and as we wrap this up today, do you have any final words of wisdom you'd like to share?
If it is to be, it is up to me.
Ooh, yes, yes. I'm with you, sister.
Oh, thank you so much. This is wonderful. I appreciate you. This is fun.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us today. And thank all our change makers who are tuning in and learning about the awesome Peggy Sue. And we will be doing some more interviews this week. So stay with us and make sure you listen, you read about these people and see, I know there's people in this group that should be collaborating. So don't be afraid to reach out to each other, maybe because you hear somebody say something that could be helpful to you, but it may also be, oh my goodness, I've got some synergies with that person. Maybe we should be looking to see if we can do some kind of a joint program, helping each other in some way. That's what we want to see more and more of in this group. And I know that it will be because that's what we're envisioning. So thank you all, everybody.
Oh,
We'll see you in the
beautiful.
next interview. Take care. Bye bye.